Okay, so we're all seeing it, right? AI-generated content is absolutely everywhere, and the line between what's real and what's fake is getting blurrier by the day. So how can we possibly know what to trust anymore? Well, let's dive into the tech that's being built to try and bring some clarity back to our digital world. And just to give you a sense of the scale of this problem, get this. By 2025, it's projected there will be over 8 million deepfake incidents. That's up from just 500,000 in 2023. I mean, that's an explosion, and it's forcing us to deal with a really fundamental issue. And that issue is what you could call the reality crisis. This isn't just about spotting a fake picture here or there. No, this goes way deeper. It's about the very foundation of trust online. What's happening is that the sheer amount and, frankly, the incredible quality of AI media is making it almost impossible for us to tell what's real with our own eyes. And that's not just some minor inconvenience. It's a deep, systematic erosion of trust in everything we see, everything we share. Now, this concept is so important to understand. It's called the liar's dividend. And here's the toxic side effect of all this fake content. When literally anything could be a fake, it becomes super easy for bad actors to just dismiss real evidence as fake. It just muddies the waters even more. It makes it that much harder for the truth to win out. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. How do we even begin to fight back? Well, the answer isn't trying to ban the tech. Instead, it's about building a whole new layer of trust. And the best way to think about it is like a kind of digital nutrition label for our content. It all comes down to this core idea called content provenance. It's a pretty simple concept, but it's incredibly powerful. It's all about creating a secure, verifiable history for a piece of media, tracking exactly where it came from and every single change made to it along the way. And this is the perfect way to think about it. Just like a nutrition label on food, it doesn't scream, "this is good" or "this is bad." Not at all. It just gives you the ingredients, the verifiable facts, so that you can make an informed decision for yourself. Right, so this whole system is built on something called content credentials. So how does this digital nutrition label actually get attached to a file? Let's break down how it works. Think about the life of an image. From the very moment it's captured by a camera, or generated by AI, or edited in some software, information about that action gets recorded. This history, from creation through every single edit, all the way to when it's published, it travels with the file. So here's the crucial part. How is this all secured? Well, the file's data gets turned into a unique digital fingerprint, that's the hash. Then that information is cryptographically signed with a secure certificate. The same kind of tech that secures your online banking. That signature gets embedded right into the file itself, creating this tamper-evident record. And for you, the person looking at the content, this whole thing is designed to be super simple. You'll just see a little icon on an image or video, you click it, and boom, you see the content credential, who made it, what tools they used when they made it. Like here, you can see this image was made with an AI tool, and that whole history is right there for you to inspect. Now, this is really important. This isn't just some Adobe thing or a Microsoft thing. Content credentials are based on a totally open standard from a group called the C2PA. That's the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity. They brought together a bunch of major industry efforts to create one unified global standard. And just look at who's behind this. We're talking of the heavy hitters in tech, media, and even government. You've got Adobe, Microsoft, Google, the BBC, Sony, OpenAI, even the NSA. Having this broad coalition is what gives the whole thing its weight and a real shot at being adopted everywhere. Okay, so why is this all happening right now? Why the big urgent push? Well, it turns out it has some really direct benefits for all of us, for you, for creators, and for the entire digital ecosystem. First off, it helps protect your identity. I mean, if you're consistently signing your real photos and videos, it gets a lot harder for someone to create a deepfake of you and pass it off as legit. For creators, it gives them a way to attach a "do not train" tag, which is a huge deal for asserting rights. And this is a big one. It helps prevent something called model collapse, which is when AI models start getting dumber because they're accidentally training on other AI-generated junk data. And then there's the other big driver. The law is catching up. You've got deadlines approaching fast. California has a new law on AI content kicking in, and the huge EU AI Act starts being enforced in August 2026. Companies have to find a way to comply with all this, and, well, content credentials are basically a ready-made solution. Okay, but let's be real here. The system isn't perfect. Not yet, anyway. This is very much an evolving standard, and there are some pretty significant challenges they still have to overcome. Here's the number one challenge, the biggest roadblock they're facing right now: metadata stripping. See, when you upload a photo to most social media sites, their servers squish it down, they process it, and in doing that, they often just strip out that embedded content credential. The information is just gone before anyone else ever sees it. So how do you fix that? Well, the solution is what's being called durable content credentials. This is kind of the next generation of the tech. It combines that original metadata with two other clever layers: an invisible watermark that can actually survive all that processing, and a content fingerprint that lets the system find and recover the original credential from a database, even if it got stripped from the file. But even with all this amazing tech, there's a permanent limitation we have to talk about. It's something you have to understand, and it's called first-mile trust. Here's what it means. A credential can prove without a doubt that a specific camera or a specific person signed a file and made a claim. What it can't do is prove that the camera was actually pointed at what the caption says it was. It verifies the claim was made, not that the claim is, objective reality. And that's why this is so important to remember. Provenance is not a silver bullet. It can't be. It's one very vital pillar in a much larger strategy for building trust online. It has to work alongside other things like AI detection tools, public education, and of course, smart policy. But here's a really interesting thought to chew on. As this technology gets more and more common, as it becomes the standard, we might see a fascinating flip. The absence of a content credential, well, that itself could become a new kind of signal. It might be the new red flag. Which really just leaves us with one final question for the future of how we see the world online. As these tools roll out everywhere, if the content you're looking at has no history, no provenance, no label, are you really going to be able to trust it?